Park for another Sunday afternoon's entertainment in the Second Division Championship. Visitors this afternoon, Hunslet, and looking at the Keighley side, they line up as follows today. Andre Stoop full-back, Andy Ayres, Nick Pinkney, Simon Irving and Neil Kenyon in the three quarters, Martin Wood and Chris Robinson at acting half-back, Martin Wood stepping in for the injured David Creaser in the stand-off position, and the forwards comprise Ian Gately, Jason Ramshaw, Steve Hall, Darren Fleary, Grant Dorey and Gareth Cochrane. The substitutes are Keighley, Keith Dixon and Darren Appleby. And for Hunslet this afternoon is full-back Paul Burrow, number 2 Scott Lim, number 3 and captain for the day is Carlton Paddle, very much a Keighley favourite here until he's moved to Hunslet at the end of last season or commencement of this season. Warren Jowett and Paul White make up the rest of the three quarters. David Brook and Sean Wilson at the half-back positions, and Richard Pell, David Close, Matt Steele, Bob Holroyd on loan from Bradford Northern, Steve Price and Mick Coyle in the forwards. The substitutes for Hunslet today, Craig McAllerton and Neil Lee. The man in the middle this afternoon, David Asquith from York. The toss-up has taken place. Hunslet have won the toss. Carlton Farrell decides to turn the tables on Keighley and play it up the hill. And of course Hunslet assistant coach Ian Fairhurst not with us at the moment, I'm told. His wife Tracy gave birth to a son this morning at 8:10, and I'm sure everybody here at Cougar Park will want to wish Tracy and Ian and the new addition, a brother for Robbie, to the family, and all the very best to both of them. Or all of them indeed, but it's rugby league this afternoon. It's Chris Robinson, he's got the sand on the centre spot, ready to start this game. Keighley need to bounce back after the somewhat shock defeat last week against Batley. However, Hunslet taken two very noticeable scalps in their two victories this season, beating London Crusaders at home and beating Rydale York. Of course, remember Rydale York drew here at Cougar Park earlier. However, it has to be said that Hunslet's performances away from home have not been good, to say the least. But they'll be on the mettle this afternoon, I feel sure, and Keighley will have to watch out for it. Right on the 20-metre line in the Hunslet half of the field. Not particularly expecting to get that ball there, I don't think. The Hunslet loose forward Mick Coyle as it goes back for the kick. Good kick, but well taken there by Andre Stoop. Mr. Asquith waves play away. Tackle there by Carlton Farrell, 30 metres out from the Keighley line. And Andy Ayres also put to ground by Farrell. Steve Hall driving back in. 5 metres from the halfway line now as Ramshaw gets Robinson in on the act. He brings on number 12 Grant Dorey, just breaking into Hunslet territory. Robinson steps back inside, now finds Wood with the ball outside. And Martin Wood though brought to ground 30 metres out. It's the last tackle coming up, and Ramshaw onto Robinson. He finds the ball out to Gately. Gately pops the ball up for the supporting play. It wasn't there, but it was the handover anyway. Hunslet in the unaccustomed colours this afternoon of white and it might be maroon, but a deep one, almost black. Ball coming out this side, foul in the hands, but brought to ground. 3 Cougar players there to bring him to ground. Sean Wilson, the Hunslet scrum half, just involved there as the ball goes up into touch. on the Keighley 20-metre line. So we go down to scrum.
The emergency exit gates are closed only on emergency, and that will apply to the one at the scratching shed side. Looking from
David
the
Close,
side, will be shut unless there's an emergency.
David Close, the Hunslet makeshift hooker this afternoon. Regular hooker being suspended for 3 games following a high tackle last week. Referee Mr. Asquith just having a few words with both front rows there as the first scrum of the game goes down. Ayres coming in. Good clearing run from the back of the scrum there. Cochrane now steps back inside, gets into the Hunslet half of the field. And Richard Pell, the number 8, told to keep the tackles down. Keighley gain a penalty just a couple of metres inside the Hunslet half of the field. Simon Irvine, they're putting this ball into touch on this near side as we look at the field.
So then, Ramshaw gets play underway onto Gately. He hits the 20-metre line. Been well brought down there though by those 2 defenders, Richard Pell and Matt Steele of Hunslet, and Steve Hall now taking the ball in onto the 20. Ramshaw to Robinson. He finds Grant Dory. Dory tries to step through the defence there of Paul Burrow, the Hunslet fullback. As Martin Wood now, or Keighley certainly had the numbers out there. That a 2-to-1 overlap on the far side of the field. Martin Wood though takes the ball back inside and gets tackled. And Ramshaw now. Robinson out there to Stoop, and Stoop's in for the first Keighley try. Well, they certainly had the overlap position there. Hunslet had not covered the possibilities. They got away with it the first time when standoff Martin Wood turned back inside. But they didn't learn from the fortune that they were handed there, or the good luck that they were handed there in the first instance. They didn't cover that corner. Andre Stoop linking perfectly to join the line and get the first points on the board for Keighley. That try then coming on 5 minutes. Simon Irvine then with the conversion attempt, 9 metres in from the touchline side. Wind unusually blowing across the field from behind us here, so it's almost into his face there, but not making sufficient adjustment there for that wind. The ball just drifting to the left-hand side of the near upright as far as he was concerned. So it's a positive start then for Keighley. 4 points on the board, 5 minutes on the clock. And that one's going way out on the full. Standoff David Brook totally misjudging that kick. Simon Irvine going to put that ball into touch on the far side using the wind. It only just made it. In fact, I thought winger Paul White might have made an attempt to have got that ball, but he didn't. It's Neil Kenyon driving in for Keighley. 15 metres out now as they launch an attack, another attack towards the Hunslet line. Gately spinning after the offload in the spin by Steve Hall there. Tried to get away, but there was nobody with him. Ramshaw now offers it to Robinson. He gives it to Martin Wood. Oh, Nick Pinkney. Nick Pinkney goes through the gap there like a knife through butter. Tremendous try. It was well worked though, I have to say. I don't think Hunslet were expecting Pinkney coming from that angle at all. But he went straight through the defence. Hunslet never laid a hand on him.
Simon Irvine then with the chance of adding the extras from right in front. Which he does.
Super Simon.
10 points to Keighley without reply as yet, and I think in fairness I don't think Hunslet have really had hold of the ball to any extent in his first, 8 minutes.
Super.
So then Brook restarts, makes sure that ball not going out on the full this time. Robinson feeds Fleary. Fleary drives back to the 20-metre line, brought down there by the number 10, Matt Steele.
I wonder who that is in that Cougar suit.
So, in fact, Hunslet caught offside as they tried to creep up on the outside. Just testing the referee to see whether he in fact is looking for the creeping on the outside. And indeed he was, as Gately drives back down, gets away, partially away from the tackle, but it's right down to the 20-metre line now as Steve Hall leads the charge into that 20-metre area of Hunslet, and the Cougars in the shape of Robinson still going. In fact, Robinson's still going. Couple of metres now from the Hunslet line. Robinson gets up, plays the ball. Well, he does eventually, and Stoop tries to go around the short side where there's almost no room whatsoever to work. Robinson onto Irvine, Irvine out to Ramshaw, Ramshaw finds Wood, Wood feeds the ball out to Cochrane, Cochrane gets the ball to Pinkney, Pinkney feeds Andy Ayres, Ayres in at the corner, he is indeed, just not able to see perfectly, in fact, whether from where I was standing as to whether Ayres' feet had been dragged into touch by Carlton Farrell. The touch judge's flag stayed down, the try was awarded. It looks early signs, that is, with only 10 minutes on the board, as Keighley already have 14 points. It looks as though Hunslet could well be on the end of a backlash from the defeat here at Cougar Park by Keighley in the hands of Backley. At the hands of Backley, I should say. So I suppose somebody has to get the backlash, and it looks as though it's Hunslet who was going to be on the receiving end of it. Simon Irvine then, but that one way across the face of the post. In fact,
your number lunch with Larder is number 01636. 01636. If you have the number, will you see Norma Rankin, please, after the match for your lunch with Larder. The number is 01636.
David Brook then restarts once again for Hunslet. Robinson, the regular pattern, takes the ball, and Fleary does the driving away from the try-line area. Cochrane now stepping out of the 20-metre area of Keighley's. Held, shouts the referee, as Ramshaw gets the ball in his hands. Robinson onto Martin Wood, long ball out there to Pinkney. And it's Wood again. Grant Dorey tackle there, and he plays the ball. It's Gareth Cochrane, though, the loose forward for Keighley, making his way towards the halfway line as Mr. Asquith puts his hand in the air for the last tackle. Robinson puts the boot to the ball, finds touch about a dozen metres from the line at the bottom end of the field there. So it's a good kick there by Robinson. It was a good set of six by Keighley, taking them the complete length of the field and pushing Hunslet way back down the bottom end once more, having to work the way up in what assumes is going to be their possession from this scrum. Indeed it is. Scrum half, Sean Wilson it was, coming away from that scrum. And Paul White, the winger, with the second move away. Carlton Farrell driving the ball in, but straight into a reception committee there of Keighley defenders. Just a bit high, and referee Asquith pulling it down. Richard Pell, the man on the end of the high tackle, as Brook puts the ball into touch on the far side, 5 metres inside the Cougars' half of the field. David Close gets the ball out there to Stephen Price, the former York player. Out across then now as Bob Holroyd takes play 10 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Nice offload there in the tackle by Matt Steele to the hooker David Close, and play going up into the Cougars 20. Scott Lem, the number 2 for Hunslet, gets the ball away from that tackled area, but only to see the man on the end of the final pass, Richard Pell, going down some dozen metres or so from the Cougars line. David Close now takes the ball in, chips. Robinson picks the ball up though as the ball was attempted to be kicked through. Andre Stoop, just outside the 20-metre area. Darren Fleary steps away from Carlton Farrell, gets about 9 metres from the halfway line. Ramshaw now onto Robinson. Robinson finds Dory. Dory straight into a brick wall there of Pell, Close and the loose forward Mick Coyle. And the last tackle comes up once more. Looking once more for the kick from Robinson. Well, the ball half charged down. White back, says the referee. In fact, it was charged down with an attempt to intercept, so the referee adjudging that a definite attempt had been made by Hunslet to gain advantage there, as Martin Wood now gets 30 metres from the Hunslet line. Robinson out to Dory. Dory hits the 20 line. Ramshaw acting half-back, gets the ball in field to Robinson. He finds Ian Gately on the run through. The big fella brought down on that 10-metre line, but it's right in front of those Hunslet posts. Ramshaw to Robinson, certainly offside there as Robinson gets a hole. Look for the ball for Andy Ayres, I think, there. Popped the ball out there for Ayres to pick up, but he hadn't made the distance, and it was straight into the arms of a Hunslet player. There's a big tackle there. Well, it was a bounce off Ian Gately by Matt Steele, the Hunslet number 10. Referee calling held from a distance away. I don't think the players will have heard it particularly well. Certainly Bob Holroyd didn't. And that ball, well, I think in all honesty Keighley a bit fortunate to get away with that one. It certainly looked to hit Gareth Cochrane's body and hit the ground before he recovered it. It was Robinson was looking to get away, was looking for the support player as well. There's Andy Ayres though, supporting this time. Ayres in the gap, he's found Andre Stoop on the far side. Stoop's in at the corner. Good initial work there by Andy Ayres, setting that try up. And as the ever-willing Andre Stoop linking in the line and putting the points on the board in the corner. I have to say he also had, I think it was Simon Irvine in support, had he not been able to get through, but he didn't need the support, he got there on his own. Simon Irvine then, another difficult conversion attempt. Only a metre inside the touchline side this time. And that ball's not going to get there. As David Close makes his way back to the halfway line once more. In fact, a closer look at the Hunslet jerseys indicates it's neither maroon nor black, but in fact it's brown. Half a juggle there by Darren Fleary on his own dead ball line area. And it's Ayres looking for the way through. The referee indicating there. The crowd said ooh, but the referee indicates that Ayres had in fact ducked into that tackle. As Gately now works his way through the middle, finds Ramshaw onto Martin Wood, but Wood tackled in possession. Nick Pinkney just shakes his head there, can't believe it, thinks he should have had that ball. But Robinson this time finds Cochrane. Cochrane tries to step through the gap in the Hunslet defence as the last tackle comes up. Well, what's happened there now then? Surely it looked as though Keighley may well have dropped that ball. Referee setting himself up on the defensive line, waiting for the play of the ball to take place as the Hunslet player came away with it. He's awarded the scrum. And of course Hunslet's head and feet for the knock-on. Just a minor lapse in concentration there, possibly by Mr. Asquith or his touch judge on the far side anyway. Hunslet just staggering about in the middle of the field there. Mick Coyle, the loose forward, not knowing really what to do with the ball. Eventually it's Price who gets it, and he's brought to ground just inside his own half of the field. Pell for Hunslet breaks into Cougar territory as the last tackle raised once more. And Close puts boot to ball. Beg your pardon, it's Brook rather. Ball being allowed to go into over the dead ball area there by Keithley's Andy Ayres, and it's Robinson now finds Stoop from that tap on the 20 restart. Ramshaw onto Hall tackled by the combination there of David Close and Matt Steele. Eventually decides the best option perhaps is to go down as Ayres now joins the line once more. Ayres this afternoon obviously being given a freedom role again to act as a possible second standoff. Certainly being allowed to roam as Grant Doherty takes play a dozen metres inside the Hunslet half before going to ground. Ramshaw acting half back. Robinson having to wait for that ball. Nice delayed pass there by Robinson, finds Cochrane finds Martin Wood. Martin Wood gets the ball out to Simon Irvine, and bang goes the ball over the line by Simon Irvine. That started by that superbly delayed pass just inside the Hunslet half by Robinson. The rest is history. Robinson already back in his position to take the ball from the restart, and just giving that hamstring that he came off with last week a tentative stretch in the in-goal area at the top end of the ground. That try coming in the 23rd minute of the first half. Simon Irvine now with the opportunity of making his own 4 into 6. which she does.
Points for Super Simon.
Brookery starts once more. Robinson takes the ball. Fleury drives it in. Cochrane. 25 metres out from the Keighley line as Keighley make progress once more back towards the halfway line. Robinson finds Wood. Wood puts the long ball out there. And certainly in danger of interception on that one. Winger White just not quick enough to get to it. Grant Dory, 10 metres from the halfway line. Steve Hall now takes the ball in. And the referee just pulling out for a high, well, not a high tackle, I think so much as a stiff arm. Well, he indicates to the head, does Mr. Asquith. Certainly very quick to call that one. As soon as the tackle went in, Mr. Asquith's whistle was blown. There's Ramshaw. Ian Gately now driving in, turns, leads with the shoulder as he gets towards the 20-metre line. Ramshaw acting half-back. That's a messy play of the ball. In fact, a Hunslet player certainly must have got the boot to it. Mr. Asquith, I don't think, has wiped the slate clean. I thought a Hunslet player had got the boot there. Obviously, he's closer than we are. As Steve Hall gets a dozen metres from the line. Ayres calling for the ball over this side as Robinson switches play with Martin Wood, and there's Nick Pinkney on the same move as before where he scored the try. Robinson having to sweep up as Ian Gately now coming in, gets to within 10 metres of the Hunslet line before being brought down. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Robinson, a long ball out to Martin Wood. Wood feeds Fleury. Fleury's in. Well, I think that's the first try that Darren Fleury has registered with the Cougars since signing for the club. Certainly one which he's worked hard for in the games he's played so far.
Darren Fleury.
And the kick successful.
Super Simon.
Scoreline already then to 30. As the game gets underway again, Robinson and the scorer Fleury driving the ball back out. The pattern the same from that play of the ball. In fact, it's a penalty to Hunslet here for not playing the ball correctly by Keighley. Mr. Asquith just holding play up there until Carlton Farrell had come back into an onside position, which I find quite strange. Richard Bell inside the Keighley 10-metre area. On that ball not being taken correctly by loose forward Mick Coyle. It was obviously a planned move there by Hunslet. Coyle not taking the ball well at all, and gives the possession back to Keighley, now working their way back outside, or away from their own line, as Andre Stoop tries a little bit of individualism to get away from the tacklers and break the 20-metre line, but he's brought down 15 or 16 out from his own line as Steve Hall now takes play in. Eventually Gareth Cochran gets down and plays the ball there as Robinson switches play and Ayres takes it back into the centre. The referee has his arm up for the last tackle as Gately puts boot to ball. That's a tremendous kick, Guy Gately, and the crowd certainly giving a big cheer. I don't think they've ever seen Ian Gately kick a ball like that before. He was left in a no-go position. I don't think he should have got it in the first instance. But it was a tremendous kick there by the Australian prop forward. Keeping Hunslet penned in this half of the field. Big tackle there by Gately on the number 10, Matt Steele. And this is Richard Pell. Gets the ball out to Price. Price puts the ball out to centre Warren Jowett, who knocks on. And I think in all fairness, Hunslet at the moment not really got too many answers to offer against this Keighley side. But having said that, I think we've got to remember that they've yet to fail to get 20 on the board in any game they've played this season. Ramshaw to Robinson. He finds Hall in the centre of the field. Hall drives in, busts the first tackle. No support player looking to pick the ball off him, though, as Ramshaw now finds Robinson. Robinson, a long ball out to Martin Wood. Wood steps, gets the ball out to Dorey. In fact, Dorey releases the ball in the tackle. Nick Pinkney on the end of it slams the ball down over the line and hurls it in the air with delight. Nick Pinkney's second of the afternoon, 34 points to nil, Keighley lead with 31 minutes on the board.
And so they gave him medicinal compound, and now he's learning how to fly. Was known to be healthy, he would never eat meat, so they gave him medicinal compound.
Nick Pinkney.
Simon Irvine then with the conversion attempt once more. It's his 7th attempt at conversions, successful on 3 occasions so far. Strikes the post with that one, so not the day for Simon Irvine in the goal kicking role at the moment.
Once again, your lunch will add a number.
No doubt he will appreciate the fact that if his players
01636, if you see Norma,
score the tries nearer the post, then the conversion points are so much easier to add.
Today, and
As-
we'll give you all the details.
As often is often the case. Robinson deflecting the ball into the arms of Fleary there with his body. Fleary making the customary 20, and Ramshaw goes on his own from acting half-back, 10 metres from the halfway line. Robinson finds a support in Dorey on the outside. He breaks into Hunslet half of the field. As Robinson forward pass there to Gately, but not spotted by the referee. Gately taking full advantage and getting 27 metres from that Hunslet line once more. Robinson on then to Simon Irvine. Irvine gets the ball out In fact, a Hunslet hand in there. Wipes the slate clean in Mr. Asquith's signal as Neil Kenyon now breaks through the tackles. Neil Kenyon in for a try. Poor tackling there by Hunslet. Very poor tackling by Hunslet there, allowing Kenyon through when really he should have been stitched up, but the Keighley winger taking full advantage of that and scores the try.
Go Neil, all the way from Liverpool.
Irvine then again from that far side of the field. Definitely left the kicking boots in the dressing room this afternoon. And it's substitution being made by Hunslet, the number 9 David Close being replaced by Neil Lee.
Ian Ferris, by the way, is here today. His wife gave birth to a baby this morning. So give a big hand, he's down the dugout. That's Ian Ferris with the Hunslet coaching staff. Well done to Ian. All the very best. All the best to the wife.
Play restarted then. This time it's Andre Stoop on the end of the restart by David Brooke.
Hunslet substitution on comes Neil Lee for Dave Close.
Steve Hall driving back towards the 30-metre line, but brought to ground by those Hunslet defenders. And it's Ramshaw. Gareth Cochran, the Keighley loose forward, in the action. Referee Asquith tells him to play the ball. Ramshaw feeds on to Darren Fleary. Fleary goes through the centre, busts the tackles. Well, the ball was forward. The referee about to blow for the forward pass, but it was spilled. And so Hunslet regather. Neil Lee. And it's Hunslet now in the form of Richard Pell and now Neil Lee working their way into Keighley territory. Wingman Scott Lom gets the ball across the field, eventually at the far side to Warren Jowett. Jowett though tackled in possession 15 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. White gets the ball inside to number 6 David Brooke. Brooke feeds the ball out there and Carlton Farrell waiting to get it, and in fact where on earth's that ball gone? In fact he's given the referee a knock on. The Hunslet player well, we'll wait to see where the first knock on occurred. I find that a little bit naughty. Surely the ball was kicked through by the Hunslet player straight into the Keighley player. He could do nothing about it at all. The ball played the man, not the man played the ball. As Hunslet get away from that scrum that they've been awarded there in the shape of scrum half Sean Wilson. On then to Mick Coyle, the loose forward, going through into the 10-metre area, or almost into the 10-metre area of Keighley. Neil Lee acting half back, gets the ball across to Brooke. Brooke finds the number 10 Matt Steele, and it's out then to Scott Lim. Scott Lim still working his way across. It's a bit of scrambling defence there by Keighley, succeeding in bringing him to ground as Brooke feeds the ball out there to Warren Jowett, but Simon Irvine doing a good job and pressurising the man receiving the ball and forcing the knock-on. Unfortunately, Keighley also knocked on, so we go to scrum 10 metres out. 38 minutes on the clock. as the scoreline reads 38 points to 0. Point a minute so far Keighley have scored. Neil Kenyon on the end of a high tackle there from David Brooke. Mr. Asquith penalising the event. Irvine puts the ball into touch, and Ramshaw gets play back underway again. All the Hunslet defensive line creeping well inside that supposed 10-metre area. Ball going back as Robinson tries to outwit the Hunslet defence by spinning back inside. And Ramshaw, the first marker there from Hunslet, Neil Lee, very, very quickly off the markers. Gately does well to regather that one. Don't really think he should have been in the position to take that ball, or the previous one that he missed. So Pinkney brought to ground just inside his own half of the field now as Grant Dorey gets into the action once more. The last tackle comes up, indicated by Mr. Asquith. 5 metres inside as Robinson puts a high ball, but the wind's holding it. And I think, yes, definitely Steve Hall made contact with the ball, but it went forward. Darren Fleary in an offside position regathered, so the referee gives the penalty to Hunslet. And David Brooke puts the ball into touch and clears the stand at the far side of the field. Hunslet get play underway again. Looks to offload there. Does Matt Steele as the half-time hoot has blown. We've seen 8 tries and 3 conversions in the first half. The tries have come a couple to Andre Stoop, 2 to Nick Pinkney. Andy Ayres weighed in with 1, as did Simon Irvine, and of course Neil Kenyon the last one. 3 Simon Irvine goals brings the half-time score to Keighley Cougars 38, Hunslet 0. Where we go then for the second half as Hunslet kick off downfield and Fleary drives back up. Ayres in the line then, breaks the 20-metre line, 25 out from his own lines, his tackle there. And Ramshaw feeds Hall on the short side. Hall breaking towards the half but dragged down 10 short as Ramshaw now finds Robinson. Gately driving in. Referee just indicating that
can we have the doctor, please, to the Hunslet dressing room?
Tackle
the
was
doctor is available, please.
Was on the shoulder.
The doctor to the Hunslet dressing room. Thank you.
Ramshaw. Gareth Cochran in.
To the dugout, please. If the doctor can go to the dugout. Thank you.
So Robinson chips the ball over the top. Not going into touch. Good kick. Tremendous kick there. Hunslet fullback Paul Burrow having to take the tackle right on his own try line, and in fact that's Paul White now also being restricted to that try line area, and the third tackle used by Hunslet, and they're still not outside their own 10. Good pressure by Keighley on Mick Coyle there in that case by Neil Kenyon. Kicker! Last tackle comes up. Still 15 metres from the line. Back there to Brooke to kick. Over the far side. Andy Ayres underneath it. Andre Stoop in support. Gets the ball. Gets away up the far side. Ayres inside. Fails to part with the ball inside to Ayres. Stoop goes into touch and think it might have been a better option for him to have given that ball to Andy Ayres.
It's his birthday. We've got some champagne and a bottle of, and a card for her at the front of the stand. If she can make herself known, please. That's where the dugouts are. Thank you.
Not only was Stoop forced into touch there, it was on the first tackle. In fact, the first tackle hadn't been completed when he went in. Out the back of the scrum there to scrum half Wilson. For Hunslet, and is dragged back and, well, carried back towards his own line.
Plays with the Cougar Cubs. Happy birthday, Colin Pickles.
Scott
From
Lim
Mum and Dad and all the Cougar friends.
struggling away to get towards the 20-metre line, eventually managed to get there, but brought down. And Matt Steele tackle there by Gately as Hunslet now look to break the line. In fact, they do. Mick Coyle, the loose forward, breaks into Cougar territory. 5 metres inside. The touch judge on the far side telling Keithley to get up and allow him to play the ball as Brook now gets the ball in the centre of the field to Carlton Faddle. Looping round the back, but there was no way through for him, but suddenly the way appeared. And Brook on the last tackle now. Wilson scoots through, but brought down and loses the ball and injured in the process. Just a twist of the knee there, it looked like, on Wilson as he was tackled. And in fact, Hunslet give away a penalty to Keithley there, refusing to allow the man to get up and play the ball. And so Keithley do get the relieving penalty from 25 metres out, as Simon Irvine looks to put the ball into touch on the far side. Hunslet looking to make a substitution for the injured Wilson. Referee just holds play a moment whilst Wilson goes off the field, and it looks like David Close that's come back on.
Substitute Hunslet, Michael Hatton for Wilson.
In fact, Hatton. Craig McAllerton it is. Martin Wood, inside ball there to Gately. Gately half through the tackle, but Mick Coyle hanging on to him there as Robinson gives the ball to Cochrane. Offloads to Ramshaw, basketball fashion to Martin Wood. Martin Wood looks inside and out, but nobody available for him there as Robinson now works his way through. Andre Stoop, it misses everybody in fact. Kenyon gets the ball back inside to Stoop. Stoop ducks underneath the tackle, and so it's Ramshaw acting half-back this time. On to Robinson. Steve Hall missed out as Martin Wood gets the ball over the far side to Pinkney. Pinkney tries to stride round Carlton Faddle, but there's no way through for him there. And Fleury on to Martin Wood. Wood hoists the ball high towards the post, but it's going out. And in fact, the Hunslet player there not realising just quite how close he was to those hoardings. Physio being called on quickly. I remember a similar incident actually when Keithley were at Hunslet a couple of seasons ago, when Martin Wood did a similar sort of thing at Elland Road. He vanished behind the hoardings and wasn't seen for 5 minutes.
Well, I thank our sponsors today. That's Edmondson's Electrical, who are covering the whole match. That's the ball sponsor, man of the match, and the match itself. Tremendous. That's Edmondson's Electrical Limited. Thank you very much. Superb. And a big happy birthday to Dave Blackburn, who's October the 16th. He sponsors towels, he's an agent, he's a season ticket holder, etc. He's got a corner shop in Glusburn. So if you're in Glusburn, don't forget to see Dave Blackburn.
That player over there certainly looks to be quite seriously injured.
Can we have first aid, please, at the top of the ground? Thank you.
Probably a player and probably also a spectator involved as well. As Hunslet now back to the game, we get towards the halfway line, and Brook gets the ball out to Pell. Pell, well, Darren Fleury recovered it, but again it looked a bit dodgy as to whether in fact he did take it cleanly first time. As it is, Keithley have the ball. Gareth Cochran in possession, tackled there by Stephen Price, just inside the Hunslet half of the field. Irvine steps inside as Price had already committed himself to go for the first, presumably the first receiver. Gately driving in, busts the tackle, but just doesn't manage to clear it. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Robinson just not being bought, wasn't that dummy by Price, but this is Ramshaw. Keighley have got the numbers here, surely. Well, they had the numbers, but the pass to Neil Kenyon was not of the best quality. The ball going into touch. Coyle, tackle there by Grant Dory and Steve Hall. And Paul White now looking to work his way out of that Hunslet danger area. And certainly the problem at the top side with that Hunslet player, he's not going to take too much more part in this game, being led away from that barrier where he crashed into it. Back towards the dressing rooms. In the meantime, referee penalises Keighley for holding down in the tackle. Steve Hall asks the question of the referee, which is duly explained to him. And Brook puts the ball into touch on this side, just inside, 5 metres, 6 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Neil Lear acting half-back then as Mick Coyle tries to outfox the Keighley defenders there with a little sidestep shimmy and what have you to the right-hand side. Lee on to Jowett. Jowett spins as he hits the tackle but doesn't escape it. Right in front of the Keighley post now as Lee gets inside that 10-metre area. And Brook finds McEllerton. McEllerton gets the ball out this side to Paul White. Paul White, though, well tackled and dragged into touch, is he? No, not quite in touch there by Kenyon. And inside now to Wilson. Wilson kicks the ball across the face. Martin Wood there in the goalkeeper position as feeds the ball out the far side. Nick Pinkney's on the way, but he's going to be, well, I thought he was going to be tackled, but he gets the ball out to Ayres. Ayres steps in the middle of the field. Carlton Farrell going to be penalised for flopping. The tackle had been made. The tackle had already been made there by McEllerton. Carlton Farrell penalised for the flop as Keighley now set themselves back up again. Stoop feeds the ball out to Pinkney, to Simon Irvine rather, on this side. Kenyon gets up, plays the ball inside there to Dory. Dory simply drives forward. And Ramshaw acting half-back. On to Robinson. Robinson feeds Gately. Gately back to Ramshaw, to Robinson rather. But the forward pass called. So then the scrum forms just inside the Hunslet 20-metre area. Brook finds Farrell over the far side of the field. Carlton Farrell. And again, Mr. Asquith penalising for holding down, just tightening up on this one a bit in the second half. Brook safely finds touch just inside the Keighley half of the field. And Lee with the tap restart gets the ball onto number 11 Bob Holroyd. 30 metres from the Keighley line now as Hunslet come down the centre of the field. Matt Steele in possession but brought down 25 short. And it's Lee once more working his way into the centre of the field on the 20-metre line as Brook gets the ball out now. Well taken by Coyle over this side. having to reach for that pass as he went for it. Wilson now onto Price. Price straight into the brick wall there of Ian Gately, and it's Brook now. Well, they've got the numbers here, but unfortunately Wilson not able to take it. Andre Stupa judged to have, as he swept that ball up, knocked it forward. That was a decision the referee had made then, as Wilson goes from the scrum inside the Keighley 10 then. Mick Coyle strides, tries to go through the gap, but the gap closes much quicker than it had opened there. Out then to Brook. Brook onto McAllerton, but McAllerton heading the ball forward. Neil Kenyon collecting it, settles things down, takes a tackle on the Keighley 10. As Gareth Cochran now works his way across field, failing to be picked up by those defenders of Hunslet, or being put to ground by the defenders. Pinkney onto Fleary. Fleary, though, stopped there as he made his way towards the 20-metre line by Coyle. .30 metres eventually. Mr. Asquith, patience expiring on the laying on. I think he might well have called a penalty a couple of tackles earlier on that one, because certainly the Hunslet players were laying on the Keighley man as he was tackled some 10 metres from his own line. Ball not going into touch, the wind taking it back out. Neil Lee on the end of it, and Paul White this time for Hunslet, running across the face of play, only as far as the waiting arms of Darren Fleary and Martin Wood. And it's Wilson going on his own from acting half-back, almost hits the halfway line before being tackled. Mick Coyle at acting half gets the ball out this side to Stephen Price offloads that one to Coyle. Coyle found with nowhere to go, in fact having to run into the body of Neil Lee in the centre of the field, who would raise his arms, but that's a nice offload there by the prop forward Richard Pell. And Wilson onto McAllerton. In fact, the last tackle it's called, it's still going though, is Wilson. Wilson though going to be tackled 5 metres from the line. Offloaded that ball well in the tackle there, did Hunslet, keeping Keighley on the rack, almost putting them on the rack, and almost having the try line cross, but fortunately that was not the case for Keighley, as they now make their way back towards the halfway line. Ramshaw acting halfback, finds Gately, drives at the halfway line. Ramshaw, Hall stepping back inside. And Ramshaw finds Fleary. Fleary half through the tackle there, but the last one comes up. Mr. Asquith, the arm in the air, as Robinson puts the kick over to the corner. It's going to be too strong, is it? No, in fact, it was just about right. Just about right for the chase from Ayres and Pinkney was that one.
3,106. Thank you very much.
Forcing the Hunslet defender to knock the ball dead, so it's a drop out from under those Hunslet posts. David Brook with the job, and Fleary on the end of it. Just a minor adjustment there as he takes the ball, assesses where the players are and runs for the gap and gets back inside the 20-metre area with tremendous ease. Steve Hall now driving in, busting the tackles. Carlton Farrell though has his round the ankles, doesn't let him go at all, and Ramshaw now acting half-back. Robinson finds Gately, the big fella drives a couple of metres from the Hunslet line. Now we're going to see Pinkney coming in again this time. The ball looks set to sweep out this way, onto Robinson. Robinson finds Martin Wood. Wood puts the kick in. It hits the player. The referee says, though, it's still the last tackle. Well, no, he doesn't. He's now got the arm in the air. Well, I'd have to have a look at that one again as Martin Wood strides through. This is the last tackle coming up. Nobody acting half back there. That was bad play by Keithley. Nobody aware to the fact that the player had been tackled. Nobody at acting half back. Carlton Farrell having the easiest of tasks of just diving round and picking the ball up. Price gets the ball out there to eventually to Warren Jowett. You may think we've been probably calling this man Wilson. It's Jowett, of course, Warren Jowett. And Coyle gets Pell into the action. Pell offloads there back to Coyle, but Coyle well met by Fleary, but still manages to get away from the initial tackle. Fleary, though, coming back and doing the tackle. The last one comes up. Oh, there's all heaven let loose there between Coyle and Fleary in the middle of the field. I was watching where the ball went. I didn't see what happened. Certainly blew up out of nothing, did that one. And still having a go at the far side. There's Steve Hall in the middle there of the Hunslet players. There's a touch judge in the middle as well, trying to sort them out. Mr. Asquith has got to separate these two sides. He's got to tell them, he's trying to tell them to get away. Stops the clock. So we get the consultation of the three officials to see just precisely what it was that happened. We saw Fleary and Coyle having a bit of a ding-dong there. The referee calls out the two players. Suspect there's a yellow card coming out of the pocket for both of them. And talking to both captains as well. Well, that's a red card. Well, that's a red card for both of them. Well, that's a surprise. Red card to both players and the penalty being awarded to Hunslet. Well, I've certainly seen far worse than that happen on the field and no action taken. I suppose we do need action, positive action from referees, and Mr. Asquith certainly took it by dismissing both players involved. Certainly stamped his authority on the game on that occasion with 20 minutes left. Brook for Hunslet, comes across. Oh, and here we go again. Here we go again. The referee's blown the whistle. It's no good pointing. The referee's blown the whistle. Well, the crowd can cheer all the like. Mr. Asquith stopped play 25 metres out from the Keithley line. After those two players were involved, it looked like Ramshaw and the scrum half Sean Wilson Well, I suppose, in all honesty, if Mr. Asquith's going to be consistent, he's going to send those two off as well, because there was no difference in what happened there, nothing different at all in what happened there to what happened in the previous incident. And he's done nothing. Now, this is the sort of thing that really does upset players and upsets crowds as well, because 2 minutes ago, Mr. Asquith dismissed 2 players for punching. There's 2 other players being involved in exactly the same thing there, and he's done absolutely nothing about it. Wouldn't be so bad if he'd spoken to the previous players before in the first incident, and he hadn't. I think, in all honesty, well, he said it's pushing away, but I saw a fist fly. So then, Keith, they work their way back into the Hunslet half of the field once more. Steve Hall being driven back towards the halfway line. And Gately driving in. And a fist gone in there as well. Richard Pell, the fist thrower there. Well, I don't think he'll get a reaction from Ian Gately, that's for sure. Well, both captains approached the 2 officials there. Both have been told to go away. Carlton Farrell quite incensed by something. Well, the cards are coming out once more. The red card's in the hand once more. I fail to see what's happening here. If he sends 2 players off here, Mr. Asquith has shown distinct lack of control in this game in the last 10 minutes. Makes the players shake hands. Well, well, Mr. Asquith, I was determined at the start of this game not to make comments about your ability as a referee, but the last 10 minutes you have displayed absolute lack of control. The bottle has gone. You've lost control of the game completely. And the penalty goes to Hunslet once more for an elbow by Gately. And no doubt Pell sent off for the retaliation. So then Hunslet, with 15 minutes to go, 11 players aside, it gets more like a football match every minute. And quite honestly, the standard refereeing is similar to that of a football referee at the moment. Up to the hour, Mr. Asquith had a good game, I thought, but certainly let himself down in the last 10. And it's a try then for Hunslet.
Try there for Hunslet.
Neil Lee goes in and scores.
And that went to Neil Lee.
Scott Lim looking to Add the extras to that one. It's also, I've got to say, 26 minutes into the second half, and Keighley have not yet added to that half-time score of 38 points to 0. Hunslet just replied as Scotland looks to get their 4-6, which he does.
Conversion there by Scotland.
The referee just holds up play for a moment whilst the
watching Carlton's bump.
substitution taking place there. Jason Ramshaw going off as Darren Appleby comes on.
Jason Ramshaw off, and on comes Darren Appleby for Keighley Cougars.
Robinson gets play back underway. White driving away 10 metres, that's all. As Lee, the try scored of Hunslet, makes his way and in fact gets to the 20-metre line. And McAllerton feeds the ball on there to the prop forward, Matt Steele. Ball, I thought it had gone to ground, it has done now. Andre Stoop receives it, offers it out there, he's running round in circles here, is Stoop, and manages to get away. Gets the ball out there to Pinkney on the far side. Have they got to Hunslet stretched here? Ayres goes up the touchline side. Pinkney's inside and feeds the ball inside. That's Pinkney's third. And I don't think that was called for either by, possibly, is it David Brooke? The referee's having a word there. And he's got a yellow card out. I thought the yellow card was for technical offences, not for foul play. So we should be looking at another, in that case, we should be looking at a second conversion, a second goal kick, a penalty following the conversion. If the reason for referee Asquith sending David Brooke off, or to the sin bin is for the foul as the try was scored, at the point of scoring the try, then we should see a second attempt at goal after Simon Irvine has had this one.
Super Simon!
But no, we don't get the second penalty. Mr. Asquith sees it fit to dismiss somebody to the sin bin for 10 minutes in the act of scoring the try by the Keighley player, and yet doesn't award a penalty.
Super Simon and a super try.
Appleby tackled just short of the 20-metre line. Martin Wood gets away from Wilson. Onto Ayres. Ayres strides through the gap. He's got Pinkney with him on his outside. He's got Wood on his inside. Nick Pinkney's in. Straight from the restart, right under the dot. Tremendous try there by Nick Pinkney. Good support play from that bottom end of the field. Andy Ayres breaking the tackles up the touchline side. Nick Pinkney on hand, but the support play, the availability of players there to Andy Ayres. I think he'd 4 options. He'd certainly got 3 inside and he'd got Pinkney outside.
Nick Pinkney.
And Simon Irvine adding the extras. Well, it's taken Keighley something like 23 minutes, 25 minutes rather, in the second half before they got the scoring machine back in gear.
and they notched 2 tries in the space of, well, 3 or 4 minutes.
The Edmondson Electrical Limited were sponsoring the whole match today, and we can't forget Magnet as well, but Edmondson's Electrical Limited...
Robinson on the end of that ball, which was just touched by a Keighley player on the way through. Nick Pinkney awarded the man of the match. Robinson appeals to the touch judge for the treatment received in the tackle there, and that ball knocked on. Paul White's going to have to come all the way back. He tried to intercept. So the scrum forming on that Keighley 20-metre line. Chris Robinson to feed. Clean as a whistle, never touched a foot on the way through as Andre Stoke now gets into the action in the centre. Brought down a dozen metres from the halfway line. Dory taking the ball in. The referee, a judge in there, I think from the assistance maybe of the touch judge, I don't know, that Dory knocked on, just a little knock on. I thought there might have been a hint of one, the one before where Darren Appleby picked the ball up. He didn't pick it up too cleanly, but referee Asquith allowing that one to go away on that occasion. McAllerton tackle then, just 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Farrell gets the ball out there to number 10 Steele. Neil Lee taking play inside the Keighley 20-metre area. Across then now, through the hands of Wilson to McAllerton. McAllerton get offloads to the far side there to Bob Holroyd, but he's tackled 15 metres or thereabouts from the line. Stephen Price going through, trying to offload, but the arms of Martin Wood there securing the ball in that tackle, and play switch to the far side. The chip through for the chase, but missed.
Give a try there, I think, to number 2, Scott.
Well, I don't know. My eyes are not quite good as near as the referees were on that occasion, but I would have sworn that ball, that the player had missed it. Although the reaction from the crowd in that bottom corner, not saying that, I would have thought there would have been uproar from them had they thought that he'd missed the ball. Certainly looked to have missed it from here, but we're some 80 metres away, 90 metres away from where that happened. Try awarded then to Scott Lim. And certainly not the best of conversion attempts there.
Keith is substitution, on comes Grant Dory and on comes Keith Dixon. Talking about Keith Dixon and Jeff Butterfield, don't forget the Halloween disco at Cougar Park, Saturday the 29th of October. That's a Halloween disco for Jeff Butterfield and Keith Dixon's testimonial.
50 points then to Keighley, 10 in reply to Hunslet.
Tickets are £2.50 and fancy dresses optional.
As Robinson gets the action back in underway again. Paul White with just about 5 minutes of an ordinary time left. Brought to ground 15 metres from his own line. And Lee tackled just outside his own 20. Across there to Wilson. Wilson finds Farrell. Carlton Farrell through the hole. Carlton Farrell's going. He's going to give this. He's not going to give it. He's going to go inside himself, and he'd love to have scored a try there, would Carlton Farrell. Plays the ball to himself, but he's going to be penalised. Martin Wood, well, I don't know. Martin Wood, adjudged to have been marking, but he certainly wasn't standing anything like square to the man when he played the ball. So then it's a
A relieving penalty for Keighley. The boot is Simon Irving putting it into touch over the far side as Appleby gets play underway again. Steve Hall drives in, sets things up for the next move forward. Robinson finds Cochrane. Cochrane just has to take that tackle 3 or 4 metres from the halfway line. Martin Wood, Andre Stoop, well met there by Paul White, the Hunslet wingman, and Paul White on the chase there as Keith Dixon half caught in the centre of the field but gets the ball out to Wood. Wood's got the legs to go. Wood's going to score. He does, in the corner. Martin Wood.
Looking good.
And a substitution going to be made as well by Keighley. Steve Hall going to the bench. Remember, for the last 20 minutes both sides played only with 11 players. And that ball not making it.
Crawford Northern 12,
So
St. Helens
50 points, 54 points to 10. Keighley in the lead now. There's only a couple of moments or two left. Close, I beg your pardon, David Brooke gets play back underway. Robinson on the end, looks for Fleury, but of course Fleury's already had a shower, so it's left to Darren Appleby to take play in. And Keith Dixon out to Ayres. Ayres though well covered there by Carlton Farrell, and it's Cochrane. Jinks to his left, Jinks to his right, but slips then. Carlton Farrell does the tackling, and Robinson spins the ball out to Wood. He readjusts and gets it to Irving. He finds Stoop. Stoop got Pinkney with him. Pinkney's on the inside. Pinkney's going to score. Number 5, Nick Pinkney. And it's a round dozen for Keighley. Well, certainly the 2 dismissals on either side have been far more crucial as far as Hunslet are concerned. It's allowed Keighley.
Equals the club record scored in a match of 5 tries. Well done, Nicky boy.
Simon Irving then looking to add the 2 to those that 5th try of Nick Pinkney's. Safely through.
Super Simon.
Do it when Simon says, Simple Simon says, you will never be out.
Just got a bit of information here with the try scorers in them days. The first one, and my friend will tell me who they are. Ike Jagger in 1906 scored 5 tries, and Sam Stacey 1907 scored 5 tries.
David
A
Brooke
long
gets
time
the-
since somebody scored 5 tries.
Pinkney then fancies his chances of getting number 6 probably. Hunslet don't particularly want to allow him to get 6. As Appleby gets the ball onto Robinson. Robinson struggles to get away from the attentions of the 2 Hunslet halfbacks, Brooke and Wilson. And it's Appleby going on his own from acting halfback. Looked for the support on his inside, it wasn't present. And he's tackled just inside the Hunslet half of the field, and Stoop loses the ball there as he juggles with it. And it's a very tired looking Hunslet side that make the way across to form this scrum. Keighley packing down with only 4 in the scrum, and Hunslet with 5. Ball out then to Hunslet as Brook gets the ball across to Carlton Farrell. 7 or 8 metres inside the Hunslet half of the field. McKellarton, Brook inside there to Jowett. He's tackled 2 or 3 metres inside his own half of the field as Stephen Price now gets the ball for Hunslet. That's Bob Holroyd working his way downfield, gets up, plays the ball to Price, infield to Hall. Hall onto Brook, who misses out. Missed out Jowett as Farrell got on the end of the pass at the Hunslet motion forward, in fact going backwards there. Ground being lost as Neil Lee takes the tackle. It's the last one coming up. We're already 3 minutes into stoppage time as Brook puts the ball high. The chase is good there by Price. The catch is equal to it by
12, Australia 26.
by Andre Stoop as Ayres fetches the ball out to Kenyon. Kenyon half through the gap. He's got Dory inside him, but he was leaving Grant Dory there. Ball in field now onto Dixon. Dixon finds Robinson. The Cougar packs at the far side. They're hunting here, looking for extra points as Ayres goes through. Finds Robinson. Robinson's got Wood, or Wood's got Robinson, I should say. There's Keith Dixon. There's try 13. Well, as we said earlier, a moment ago, that's try number 13. The 5 of them going to Nick Pinkney, 2 to Andre Stoop. We've also had tries by Neil Kenyon and by Andy Ayres. Darren Fleary got on the act in the first half, and in the second half, we just had a try there by Keith Dixon. We've also had one by standoff Martin Wood.
Keith Dixon.
And that's the 7th goal there by Simon Irvine, taking the score, I think, there to 66. 66 points to 10. Keighley win.
Keep trying, Hunslet.
Hunslet scores, of course, coming from the try there from Scott Lim and Neil Lee, and the Scott Lim goal. Handshakes has changed all the way around. Certainly Keighley bounced back from last week's surprise defeat by Backley. Hunslet on the wrong end of a lashing here today, but a comprehensive victory there for Keighley, keeping them firmly at the top of the league. Final score then, Keighley Cougars 66, Hunslet 10.
Swinton 6.